Hello and welcome to One Trinity Place in San Antonio, Texas, as we're all set for Game 3 of this three-game series between Centenary and Trinity. You see the Gents lineup on your screen. Birkelbach, Menard, Miller, Gillum, Paulson, Mikey, Boone, fourth, and Gordon in order from 1 to 9. And on the mound for the Tigers, it will be Trajan Lee, definitely the ace of this staff. He'll try and nail down the sweep for Trinity as they've won the first two games. First pitch. And we're underway. Thinks about bunting, but Birkelbach pulls it back for strike one.
Trajan Lee, he's been all reliable for the Tigers. Had a little bit of a rough appearance against Schreiner.
This is driven in the air to deep right field. Back at the wall. Woodward can't make the catch, but keeps it in the yard. Ball's at the track. Woodward has to throw it in, and Birkelbach is at third. It goes down as a leadoff triple for Centenary, but it could have been worse.
Could have been way worse. I thought it was gone, Cole. Woodward makes an amazing leap to keep it in. Can't tell if it was going to go out or if it was going to hit off the top of the wall. Either way, Woodward gets a mid on it. Can't make the catch. But a good start for Centenary. Leadoff triple.
It was close, but he kept it in the yard potentially. First pitch to Menard is outside, and not the best start for Trajan Lee. Saw the numbers on your screen, but we can run through them again. This is his 9th appearance of the year, a 6-0 record. The Tigers have won all of his appearances, 8-0 in games where he pitches. Strike called, count 1-1. Also has a 3.12 ERA to go along with those numbers. Only 3.2 innings pitched against Schreiner, though. Struggled a little bit in that game, gave up 5 runs. Back on the mound against Centenary, now in a 2-1 count. Clay Menard started all 3 games here in this series. Played second base, where he is again. Pitch misses 3-1, and Lee in danger of losing the batter once again. My paper just blew away. It's in dangerous ground, and Reed able to secure it. Good job. Strike called, 3-2. Let you get your headset on, and thank you for getting that, Reed.
No problem. It's part of what they pay me to do.
The 3-2 to Menard, runner on third, nobody out. Ball 4, and the first 2 Gents will reach. Runners at the corners with nobody out in the inning.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this next batter doesn't go so well for Trajan if pitching coach Dave Smith doesn't make a visit to the mound early on to try and settle him down. He's been a bit shaky.
Gust of wind blowing out to center field as it ramps up throughout the afternoon. Alex Miller, the most dangerous Centenary gentleman, comes up to the plate and takes ball 1. A slider misses from Lee. Trinity electing to go with their sky blues with the pinstripe pants. Centenary in the same yellow alternates they had in game 1 of this doubleheader. Miller takes a strike. Runners at the corners. Lee trying to work around him. Miller with 2 hits in game 1 of this doubleheader. Fouls one. Ooh, that would have been back right at us if not for the screen. That's what it's there for.
You know, I wonder what's happening with our physical scoreboard out in left field right now. It's kind of been blinking the past couple of games. I wonder if it's finally given out.
I'm just guessing at the count right now. This is fouled back into the screen. So I can tell you that there are at least 2 strikes. Our scoreboard on the broadcast says 1 and 2, so I'm going to trust that for now. Alex Miller trying to give Centenary their first lead of the series. Tigers have jumped on the Gents in each of the 2 games. Popped up. Will there be a play? Drifts towards the Trinity dugout. And Tinker reaches an arm into the dugout, but there will be no play.
It's a good effort. Maybe had the opportunity to glove it, but A long way to run from where he was. Just a good job to even get there.
So Miller will step into the batter's box. Ready to go. Burkle back on third, Bernard on first. 1-2 pitch. High, 2-2. Tough start for Trajan Lee. Still no outs in this inning. Normally a very dominant component of the Tiger pitching, as this is hit into center field. 1 run will score, and it's an RBI single for Alex Miller. 1-0. Centenary leads in San Antonio.
We'll go to whip of the stick to get the first run of the game. Centenary getting that lead, Cole. They haven't had a lead all series, and now they get their first one.
So runners on first and second. Aaron Gillum. And tries to drop down the bunt. And it hit him. No, they're calling foul ball. Gillum looks like he might try and take off the glove to show him the proof. Calling a foul ball off the bat. Gillum saying it hit him. We'll see the replay, see what happened. Reed, what do you think?
It looks like, to me, it goes off his hand.
That's kind of what I'm thinking too.
I don't know if the conversation is if he didn't pull back in time. I thought he did.
Unclear to this point. Hit by pitch would load the bases with nobody out. Trinity obviously hoping that does not happen. Foul ball called was made originally. I don't know if how they can overturn this. You think the home plate umpire would have the best look at it, and if he was convicted in what he saw, then I don't know what they'll do.
We get conversations at each part of the corners.
Foul ball signal, I believe, was held up. Gillum will go back. Runners back to the respective bases, and we'll do this again. Tigers maybe catching a break there. It looked like it hit the hand of Aaron Gillum. He'll have to step back into the batter's box. Goes down as a foul ball on the attempted bunt. They'll square up to do it again. They throw to first, but Baker not covering, and they call a balk. So the runners will advance anyways. So the rough start for Trajan Lee continues. Runners on second and third. We'll see what they saw.
Never steps off. I think we're going to get another rare occurrence call where we see Coach Scannell out 2 times in one series.
Oh, you said it in the first game of this doubleheader. When Coach Scannell comes out, it's usually the worst case scenario that's occurring, and this is close to it. 1 run already on the board for Centenary. Runners on second and third, still nobody out, and the balk takes a potential double play out of order. Trajan Lee discussing with Coach Scannell and his catcher Nick Lazara, trying to find a way out of this. Lee has been the Tigers' best pitcher arguably all year. He's taken on the role of the leader of this staff. In fact, several of his teammates call him Trajan Leader. Trying to lead the Tigers out of this jam right now. Gillum back in the batter's box, and you would think not bunting anymore here. The runners already advanced to second and third. Pitch from Lee. And starts out with a strike, 0-2.
Yeah, you need an out here if you're Trajan Lee. That's got to be your #1 priority right now, is to strike the current batter out.
Trying to get it done on this pitch. The 0-2, high, not going to get it there. They throw back to third. Lazara thought he had a chance, but Menard able to dive back safely.
It's kind of been a couple of rough starts, 2 starts for Trajan Lee in his past couple appearances.
Defensive swing, stays alive. In on the hands, forces it towards the Centenary dugout, and we'll do it again at 1-2.
Looks like we do have a physical scoreboard.
It's back, how about that? Strike 3 called. Fastball finds the zone, and there's the first out of the inning. Much needed for Trajan Lee.
Certainly much needed. Batter disagreed with the call. See, barely caught the zone. I think definitely Lazara had a good framing of it as well.
Able to pull it back, 89 on the outside portion of the zone, gets the strike call. Noah Paulson up. Made 3 starts in 3 games and grounds one to short. Throw from Ramsey is in time, but the run will score. Menard coming in from third, and it's 2-0 Centenary on the RBI grounder.
That's what they've been looking for. They drive in another run. The Tigers are happy enough to surrender it. Yeah, plenty more game to go. More opportunities to get these guys with the sticks into the order.
Now Christian Mikey, the catcher. Getting a little bit of a promotion in the lineup, hitting 6th. Big swing and a miss at that pitch from Lee. Now down 0-1, runner still on second, and Alex Miller 2 outs now in the game. Pitch just misses on the outside edge. Count evens at 1 apiece. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Lee trying to get out of this inning with only 2 runs in. Oh, close pitch. Home plate umpire looked like he was stepping back to make the strikeout signal. Kept his hands where they were, count even at 2 apiece now. Chopper to second. Lustina makes the throw in time, and that ends the inning. But the Centenary Gents jumping on top of Trinity. It's 2-0 in the top of the first, as we'll head to the bottom of the frame next on Tiger Network. Welcome back to San Antonio, Texas. Tigers lineup on your screen, running through it quickly. It's Woodward, McDonald, Lazera, Jones, Baker, Brandon Nelson, Michael Lustina, Kai Tinker, and then John Ramsey in the 9-hole at shortstop. Pretty similar to what we saw in Game 1. On the mound for the Gents, it'll be Tony Barcelona, the 5th. First pitch to Woodward, outside, ball 1. And you see the numbers for Barcelona, the first year from Pearland, Texas. 2-0 record, a 2.33 ERA, and 19-plus innings pitched. Breaking ball finds the zone, strike 1 on Woodward. Last start for Barcelona went quite well. 7 innings pitched against Southwestern, 5 hits allowed, only 2 earned runs, and it was his first career start. Breaking ball misses away, 2-1. Talked to Coach Diaz about that start, and he said they weren't expecting that out of him. Just wanted to see him as an opener, maybe a few innings, and had some trouble in the first, but after that, he just kept rolling along, and they kept rolling with him. Slider just misses on the outside. Catcher Christian Mikey looking back to see where that was. Either way, the count 3-1. Woodward drives it into right field. It's a fair ball. Cut off, and Woodward will have to track back to first. Dives back safely. Leadoff knock for the Tigers.
Woody's been solid in the leadoff position this year, Cole. Whenever he can get things started with the hit, things usually signal well for the Tigers. A nifty little slide out in right field to stop the ball from rolling to the fence. All props to Paulson out there in right field.
Maddox McDonald now up, a .353 hitter on the year. Home run in Game 1 of this doubleheader. Hits a fly ball towards right, but drifting foul out of play into the Centenary bullpen. McDonald hit second in each of the 2 games so far completed in this series. Earlier today had the home run along with a base hit. Only home run of the weekend so far for the Tigers. One here would tie the game with the runner on first. Down 2-0. McDonald hits a fly ball out into left center field. Back towards the wall, and it falls on the warning track. Hops over the fence. A ground rule double for Maddox McDonald, and a great start offensively for the Tigers.
Centenary will get off a little lucky that it's just a ground rule double. It was a bit of an odd double, too. It kind of had that fly ball motion that I thought somebody was going to get there in time, but no. It falls, it hops the wall. 2 runners in scoring position for the Tigers as they threaten to tie up this game.
So it'll bring up Nicholas Lazera. Lazera, a 2-hit game in Game 1 of this doubleheader, doing the catching. Takes a pitch outside, ball 1. Interesting decision for how they played this defensively, Trinity. Deciding to use Lazera as the DH on Friday, and he's catching both games of the doubleheader. I think they would do that the other way around, potentially, but not the case. Runners on second and third, swing and a miss from Lazera. Count 1-1.
And he's in his more comfortable position as a lefty. Lazera, you've seen earlier today, come into bat as a righty, now in his lefty form.
The 1-1. Chopper to second. Menard fields it in time, but the run scores, and it's 2-1. An RBI ground out for Nick Lazera's. Woodward scores.
Yeah, nothing to be upset about. Yeah, it's a ground out, but you get a run in. Cut the lead that Centenary had in half. See if they'll try to do something similar.
And it said Nick Jones was going to be the cleanup hitter on the lineup that we just read out, but it looks like it will actually be Max Milligan. Milligan did not play in this series so far. Now getting the opportunity in cleanup. just saw a picture from my partner Reed Rosales. Looks like that was a quick edit made by Tim Scannell. Originally had Jones in there, and now it's Milligan all of a sudden. So there you go. RBI opportunity, one down. McDonald waiting on third. Pitch outside.
I'm not sure I've ever seen Milligan hit cleanup before. Definitely a new role for him.
Trinity opting for the lefty-righty matchup. Pitch away again. 2-1. Trying to bring in the second run of the game. Strike called.
Interesting pace, a much slower pace than we saw in last game, which kind of flew for parts of it.
Check swing foul. Count even at 2-2. Actually, the count full, according to the home plate umpire. Outside, ball 4, and Milligan will take the trip to first.
Yeah, they didn't want to get stung by the beekeeper there.
The beekeeper from Amarillo, Texas. For those of you who have not watched Tiger Network broadcasts in the past, we brought that up a few times. We'll bring up Will Baker, playing at first today.
I need there to be a Trinity baseball talent show one day.
That would be definitely one that could win. Bring the Hive out there. Pitch outside to Baker. 1-0. Might be able to intimidate the judges a little bit as well. Runners at the corners. Opportunity to tie the game with one down. Nice pitch. Finds the zone. Strike called. 1-1. Bit of an unusual sight above left field. There are about 5 or 6 vultures just flying around. Hopefully not foreshadowing anything. A check on the runner at first and Milligan, who dives back safely. Will Baker did not have a hit in game 1 of this doubleheader, but did walk twice. Oh, who knows? Maybe he can get a crossing guard on the day. This is grounded to second. Could be a 2. Throw to first, not. Baker beats it out. The run scores, and this game is tied.
A correct decision there to get the lead runner, just so you don't have a runner in scoring position anymore. Can't get the out at first, but I think both sides are happy enough with what happened. I think Centenary would have preferred no runs in this inning, but if you have to surrender it, might as well do it like that.
Not quite hit hard enough. Turn the twin killing. Because that's the case, the run scores, and it's 2-2. So all that damage Centenary did in the top of the first, all of a sudden erased. The batter is Brandon Nelson, designated hitter today, hitting 6th. Takes a pitch away, 1-0. So Barcelona, who had only allowed 2 runs in 7 innings against Southwestern, all of a sudden has allowed 2 already. We'll see how the freshman responds in his 2nd career start. Chopped foul, just shy of the Centenary dugout.
There's quite a major shift in the outfield. Really big gap between left and center.
Center fielder on the right side of the 400-foot marker, and now everybody will shift to the left. So the middle infield and center field are all shifting. Pitch misses away. Count 2-1. That was quite the unison shift there. They all looked at their cards at the same time, and they all walk over, and now they walk back all at once. Wow. This is hit in the air to deep right field. Back at the wall. Tigers have the lead. Two-run homer off the bat of Brandon Nelson gives Trinity the 4-2 lead.
Well, it's another no-doubter, Cole. This time from Brandon Nelson. Check it, the car's out there because we might have another broken windshield with that ball. It was demolished.
Yeah, I hope you parked as far as you say you did. That might have come close either way. Looked like it almost cleared the trees in right field. So now Michael Lustina will come up to the plate. And a lot of this damage done with 2 outs in the inning. Strike called on Lustina. Lustina with a 2 RBI single in game 1 of this doubleheader. For those of you who did not get the opportunity to watch game 1, the Tigers winning 6-1, securing the series victory. Now up 4-2. So we're still in the first inning. Both offenses going to work early. Michael Lustina up with 2 outs and hits his bat, stays fair. Throw to first is in time. Wow. You can't make that up.
That was maybe the most unfortunate ending to an at-bat I've ever seen. Cole, that was incredible.
Wow. What a way to end the inning, but not before the Tigers put up a crooked number, 4 runs. They lead this 4-2 as we head to the top of the second. Welcome back to San Antonio, and we have to open with this because just what happened? Behind his head, hits the barrel of the bat and stays fair? 1-3 putout? You can't make that up.
And now I've seen everything, Cole.
First pitch to Joby Boone, strike 1 from Lee, who got hit around in the top of the first. But all of a sudden has the 2-run lead, gave up 2, his offense gets him 4. Pitch inside, 1-1. Got to get Luke Terry back here, because I think that we came to the conclusion at the end of last season that we'd seen pretty much everything from that year, but that was just nuts. Slider just misses low, 2-1.
The most frustrating ending for Lustina, but the best ending for Barcelona, because that ball was definitely out of his hands too early.
Popped up onto the roof of the Bell Center. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, and that died fast. No shot. I think it just hits dead parts in the roof and just doesn't have a chance to get more altitude. 2-2. Pretty handsy swing, ground ball to first. Baker will take the trip himself. 1 down.
See, Cole, that's the more whoop swing that I'm used to. A check swing that goes wrong. Much more conventional play than the Lustina. But behind the head, if he would have ran it out for a hit too, that would have been, I don't know, that would have been crazy.
Get towards the bottom of the Centenary lineup. And we have confirmation. I think this is from the home run from Brandon Nelson, yeah? That is a baseball-sized hole in somebody's back window. So I don't know who owns a blue car in right field, but you might want to check that out.
Yeah, we're going to have to get that Safe Flight sponsorship sooner than we imagine.
That's one of the worst ones I've seen, I got to say. It's fouled back into the screen, 1 and 2. There have been some cracked ones, but that is literally a baseball-sized hole in the window. And you would assume the baseball is just comfortably resting in the back seat. The 1-2 from Lee. Ground ball into the hole in right. And you can chalk that up as a base hit for Lenny Forth, making his first appearance of this series.
Yeah, it was a good effort by Lucina. Diving attempt, just can't get to it. Classic single.
Jebediah Gordon, the 9-hole hitter, now up, making his third start of the series in 3 games. Foul ball. Forth was off and running. He'll have to go back. Count 0-1. Lee collected the first out of this inning, no problem. Allows the 1-out hit. Now working against the bottom of the lineup. Slider finds the zone. Strike called. Already a pretty weird and entertaining game so far, Reed. A lot of offense early and some weird plays to boot. Pitch outside, 1 and 2.
Yeah, weird plays, weird outcomes. Damage done, monetary damage done.
For someone, yeah. That's why you don't park out there. I know we're pretty desperate for spaces so far, but you got to understand the risks. Lee yanks that one into the dirt and count even at 2 and 2 with 1 down and a runner on first.
And maybe odds are that that's not even a Trinity student out there with how many different schools are here today.
Yeah, someone's going to get a not too fun surprise when they come back to their car. Pitch misses up, and Lee, who had Gordon 0-2, now in a full count. Trying to settle down. His offense gave him the lead, 4-2. 4-run inning capped off by a Brandon Nelson 2-run homer. 3-2 pitch, grounded through the hole in right. Forth was off and running. He'll head to third, and runners are at the corners with 1 down.
Yeah, that was a hit and run, worked to perfection, Cole. Not only did that runner going, that made Michael Lucina bite really hard. And he would have been in a position to maybe field that ground ball, but he was running in for maybe the pickoff attempt. And that didn't come.
So Birkelbeck, the leadoff hitter up. Takes a strike towards the top of the zone. Began the game with a leadoff triple that probably could have been a home run. Caleb Woodward the least taking that away. Birkelbeck would wind up scoring regardless. Pitch on the inside, fouled off towards the Centenary dugout.
It's a very important inning for Trajan Lee. You need to get out of this with no damage done. Because if you don't, there's going to be some questions of how long he can go.
Fouled off into the screen above the Trinity dugout this time. 0-2. The good news for the Tigers is if he can't go the distance that they would want him to, they have almost their full arsenal of relievers ready to go. They've only used 4 pitchers in total in this series before this game. 2 per. This is popped up. Playable for Tinker and foul ground. Makes the catch. 2 away.
That's just what the doctor ordered, Cole. Easy pop fly for Tinker to catch. Get that second out. You have a force out at second potentially if it's a ground ball. That's exactly what Lee needed.
Clay Menard up. Walked his first time up. See what he can do the second time through. Lee will throw to first, not in time. Reed, what are your thoughts on the pickoff attempts? Because I think they go poorly more than they go well, unless your name's Jace Clay.
I generally agree, especially when there's a runner on third.
Pitch misses up. 1-0 to Menard.
I feel like it's a needless risk to try a pickoff at first when there is a runner on third, because if you mess up, that runner is probably going to score.
1-0 misses low. Now 2-0.
I do understand the strategy behind it, because the first base runner is probably going to be more likely to be caught because you're focused on the guy at third, or at least you think they'd be.
Strike called. Fastball down the middle.
I am a fan of a good back pick, though, from a catcher.
Really?
Worked well. Very, very effective.
Pitch misses away. 3-1, and Menard 1 ball away from his second consecutive base on balls. Runner goes. This is lined into center field and a base hit. 1 run will come across. And it's 4-3 as Centenary gets 1 back, a base hit from Clay Menard.
Solid all the way around. Runner goes from one corner to the other. Gent scoring again. It has just been a rough start for Trajan Lee. He's had a couple guys down 0-2 that he's lost. You hate to see it.
And now Alex Miller up to the plate. 1 for 1 with a single. First pitch swinging, fouls it off. That was Centenary's 5th hit of the game already. If I'm not mistaken, I believe they didn't have 5 all of game 1 of this doubleheader. 4-3 is the score. Lee misses up. And the struggles with Centenary's continue so far for Trajan Lee. Made 2 starts against them last year, and neither of them went particularly well, particularly the one at Shreveport. This is roped down the line and a fair ball. 1 run will score, another hustling in. The throw will not be in time. A 2 RBI double for Alex Miller, and Centenary takes the lead right back. It's 5-4.
As the perfect place for that ball to fall, Cole. Down that seam where the dugout or where the bullpen is for the Tigers. Got caught in that corner. Makes it tough to pick up. It's just what Centenary needs. They have looked more alive in this game than they've looked in the past 2.
And that will warrant a visit from Dave Smith. There is some action in the bullpen, and not what you were hoping for. You are a member of this Trinity Tigers team. Trajan Lee, traditionally a guy who can get you some length and some quality length. The 2-time SCAC Pitcher of the Week already this season. Seems that Centenary might just have his number.
Yeah, similar to Trinity having Herrera's number year in and year out. Trajan has just not had a lot of luck against the Gents.
Home plate umpire coming up to break up the meeting on the mound. Dave Smith will head back. Alex Miller, a double down the third base line, giving the Gents the 5-4 lead just after the Tigers took a 4-2 lead. At least 2 runs have been scored in every frame played, as we might be in for a wild one here in San Antonio. Aaron Gillum up to the plate. 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Takes the ball inside. A bit of controversy for Gillum. Looked like a ball hit him in the hand. Pitch from Trajan Lee when he was trying to bunt. Foul ball call made. Ended up striking out. Instead, he hits one into center field. Woodward coming in, and he will make the catch. That ends the inning, but not before the damage is done. Alex Miller coming through for the Gents. It's 5-4 thanks to his 2 RBI double. Welcome back to San Antonio, and you see the replay of the home run that Brandon Nelson hit in the bottom of the first, and then you're going to see the result of what happened. The home run gave the Tigers the 4-2 lead at the time, and this is what happened to that poor car.
Well, we got signs out there. Fly balls in play. Park at your own risk, and that's the risk you take.
That is the risk right there. Very clear that a baseball is the culprit for the damage there.
That's the second row, too. That's not the cars parked nearest to the fence. The cars parked second nearest to the fence.
So a pretty impressive swing as we have a pitching change as well. Carson Dingler on the mound for the Gents, the first year from Chandler, Texas. So Tony Barcelona and his second start of his career is already done. First pitch from Dingler finds the zone. Kai Tinker, the batter. Done well so far this series. Finds himself hitting 8th once again. Pitch misses in the dirt, 1-1. Tinker so far this year over a 300 hitter. Had multiple hits in game 1 of this series. Ball high, 2-1. Pretty interesting shift on Tinker. Shortstop pretty far to the left towards third base. Gaping hole between short and second. Strike call.
Yeah, Centenary's put on a couple of interesting shifts against different Tiger bats. Sometimes it's worked, sometimes it hasn't. That is just the nature of the shift, though.
2-2. Hit in the air, center field. Birkelback loses the hat, but gets the baseball. 1 down.
A bit of a Martinez impression for Birkelback, losing the cap before making the catch. Good way to get the first out.
John Ramsey up to the plate. Got the start at shortstop in game 1 of this series. Camp Champness got it in game 1 of the doubleheader. Takes a strike, 0-1. The 0-1. Outside, 1-1. Ramsey, a 175 hitter coming into the weekend. 1-1 count, nobody on. Foul ball back into the screen, 1-2. Number 42 versus number 24 on the mound. The wind blowing directly out in the center field still. Ramsey trying to get the party started for the Tigers, who find themselves down a run. Good take on a slider inside, 2-2. Trinity with the 4-run explosion in the bottom of the first, but Centenary responding with a crooked number in the top of the second, 3 runs, giving the Gents the 5-4 lead. Able to get to Trajan Lee so far. Ramsey fouls it out of play.
It was a strong foul, though, from Ramsey. He got into an illustrious club yesterday. The Jaywalker Club, 4 walks in a game.
2-2 pitch. High ball 3, and so far a nice at bat turned in by Ramsey. Gents out hitting the Tigers 6-3. Still only a 1-run game, though. Trinity taking advantage of walks handed out by Gents pitching. Foul ball under the roof of the Bell Center. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's it. Countdown count. Full count. Chopper to short. Ranging play, and the throw made in time. 2 away.
Yeah, it was solid contact off of the bat of Ramsey. Just unfortunate that the shortstop is so good with Jebediah Gordon out there. He gloved it, and that was really, really good.
So the top of the Tigers lineup, Caleb Woodward coming up to the plate. 1 for 1 so far in this game. The base hit. And pops up a bunt, but into the screen, so no harm.
It's not often you see bunt messed up like that by the Tigers. They've been a pretty solid bunting team this year so far.
Now the 0-1 pitch to Woodward. Breaking ball misses away. Woodward's first at bat, of course, against Tony Barcelona. Now against the left-handed pitcher. Strike called. 1-2.
Yeah, this is an interesting outfield shift, Cole. The center fielder playing over to the left. Pretty far to the left, too.
They've had some interesting shifts. In fact, they've shifted mid-at-bat multiple times. Golf swing foul into the screen above the Tigers' dugouts. They're housed on the third base side.
Suppose they're expecting to pitch out to Woodward, try to force the fly ball into left field.
Well, not anymore as they move to dead center. A lot of shifting mid-at-bat. 1-2 pitch, ground ball to short, and it looks like they know what they're doing. Good shift throw in time from Gordon will end the inning. 3 up, 3 down, as the Tigers still find themselves down 5-4 in Game 3 of this series. Welcome back to the Alamo City, where Centenary has the 5-4 lead here on the campus of Trinity University. Trajan Lee back on the mound for his third inning of work. First pitch rifled, foul. Way ahead of that was Paulson. Paulson, the right fielder in today's game. Pitch misses low from Lee, count 1-1. Hitting 5th today, 0 for 1. Grounded out to short the last time he was up. Big swing and a miss, a nice breaking ball from Lee. And Reed, he's going to have to settle in if the Tigers want to win this game.
Yeah, I completely agree. This at bat, very important. If you can keep Paulson 0 for 2.
Pitch misses inside.
He's just been losing a lot of guys when he has them down with 2 strikes. That's been the biggest thing so far that I've noticed.
Did he go? No, Lazaro wanted it, does not get the swing call, and the count will run full with nobody out. Check swing, didn't go around again, and it's a leadoff walk handed out by Lee. Christian Mikey now up. Runner on first, nobody out, and now Centenary in a position where maybe they can start running a little more. We've already seen it so far in this game, a couple of hit and runs. See if they try and execute one here. First pitch from Lee, a fastball finds the zone. Strike one.
And needless to say, that last batter gets on after having 2 strikes in the count. Trajan Lee really has to figure something out right now.
Big swing and a miss, 0-2. We'll see if Lee can finish the job here on Mikey, who's hitting less than 200. This is the guy ideally you'd want to get if you're Lee. See if Mikey can turn in a productive at-bat and advance the runner potentially. Pitch, ground ball. The second, Lustina makes the play in the outfield grass, and it's in time. One down, but the runner does move to second.
I think that's really all you need out of Mikey right there. Just get the guy in scoring position. Who cares if you ground out if this guy's going to score?
Now Joby Boone will come up to the plate. Boone, a ground out to first in his only at-bat. He's 0 for 1. Big cut at that one. Count 0-1 with the swing and miss. Working with Noah Paulson on second. Centenary trying to extend their lead. They lead at 5-4. They've scored in each of the 2 frames they've played offensively. Throw back to second, not in time. Paulson able to dive back safely. Thankfully not getting any hotter here in San Antonio. It's been 89 for a while, and it's going to stay that way apparently. The 0-1. Breaking ball misses, though it looks like Lazera approved of the location. Count 1-1 with 1 down and a runner on. Centenary trying to extend their lead. Tigers have already put up 4 through 2 innings. Strike called. Slider finds the zone, 1-2. So once again, a situation with 2 strikes. We'll see if Lee can get the out.
Yeah, no way. The rough start. Lee could use that to his advantage. You see a lot of guys doing check swings. Maybe they'll be a bit more remiss to swing.
That one not competitive, way too far outside, and it's 2-2.
And maybe they'll give a check swing at a pitch that's in the zone.
Tigers still ranked number 10 in the country, despite their loss to Shriner. Wondering how much that would affect them. They only fall 1 spot in the Division3.com rankings. Runner goes to third. Chopper that way. Ramsey has it. Bobbles. Throws to first. And safe. Baker came off the bag. So you wonder where the error will fall on that one. Could be an E6 on the throw. Baker comes off the bag. Puts runners at the corners with 1 out. And
Coach Scannell, I think, having a bit of a problem with the call.
Well, it looked like the right call from here. I don't know if... Seems like he disagrees. Baker looked like he came off the bag to try and get the throw from Ramsey, which was a little short. See on the replay here. Yeah, a little bit of separation between the foot and the bag there.
It definitely seems like it.
Scannell still arguing his case, though it looks like the umpires got this one right. So a lot of waiting around until Scannell's done pleading his case. Final game of a 3-game series between these 2 squads. Last several SCAC titles going to these 2 teams. 2024 was Centenary. 2023 it was the Trinity Tigers' turn, and in 2022 it went to Centenary. Tigers have won 14 SCAC titles in total with their time here, and it's coming to an end after this season. They'll head to the SAA. And now pitching coach Dave Smith will come out. That'll be the day for Trajan Lee. So maybe a bit of a tactical argument from Tim Scannell, trying to stall for time, warm up somebody in the bullpen. And now he's ready to go. A pitching change in San Antonio in the top of the third. Centenary has the 5-4 lead. Welcome back to San Antonio. A pitching change occurred. It's Will Taylor on the mound. 12 innings pitched, 0 ERA. As this is sent into center field, Woodward comes over and makes the catch. Tagging at third is Paulson. He will score, and Centenary has extended the lead 6-4, and that run will be charged to Trajan Lee.
I think the Tigers kind of knew all along that that runner was probably going to get in some form or fashion. I mean, you don't like to surrender another run, but to sacrifice fly, what are you going to do? You need the out.
Runner goes, and he's in a rundown a little bit. Throw to second. Did they get him? No. Nobody covering the bag initially. John Ramsey ran in. Throw went to first at first, and then nobody covered second in time, so the runner is safe. Boone takes the bag.
Yeah, not only that, but they dropped the ball as well.
So now the bottom of the lineup. Jebediah Gordon up to the plate. Gordon 1 for 1. Pitch outside, ball 1. Now the runner on second for Taylor to deal with. He's already recorded 1 out in this inning. A nice ranging play by Caleb Woodward to his right. Runner bluffs going, pitch misses low. Taylor the lefty, one of these Tiger arms that's just emerged out of nowhere. It was a first year, still is. Pretty unexpected what he would deliver, and so far he's been proven to be an arm that can pitch in high-leverage situations like this one. The game's still in doubt. Tigers needing to hold this deficit. He's the guy they trust.
Certainly is, Cole. A bit more length than maybe he'll have been used to.
Slider inside, ball 4. And a 2-out walk handed out by Will Taylor.
And we'll see how he can do with some innings that he needs to pitch.
So Birkelbeck would come up to the plate. First year that Centenary's been relying on at the top of their lineup in this series. Pitch bounces in front of Lazera, able to keep it in front of him. So far a sacrifice fly and a walk handed out by Will Taylor. Lefty works quickly, fires strike one, and the count is even. Pitch inside, too far, and it hit him. Hit by pitch will load the bases for the heart of the Centenary order, Clay Menard, coming up.
Yeah, things are just continuing to be a struggle for the Tiger pitching staff. Changing face on the mound, unfortunately. Not doing them any favors. They have the force out at every bag now, which is the upside to the bases being loaded.
Clay Menard takes ball one outside. He's come up to the plate twice before this. Walked and singled. Trying to reach safely for the third time today. Strike called, 1-1. Bases are filled with gents. Ball high, 2-1. So Taylor struggling a little bit with control, not something we've seen out of him too much in his outings. Boone at third, Gordon at second, Birkelbeck at first. Strike called. Fastball finds the zone, 2-2. Trying to hold this deficit. Foul tip into Lazera's glove, and that is a strikeout. Much needed for Will Taylor. Gets out of the jam, leaves the bases loaded. We'll head to the bottom of the third. Trinity down 2 on the Tiger Network. Welcome back to the Alamos City. Dingler still on the mound for Centenary, who has a 6-4 lead over the hometown Trinity University Tigers. Maddox McDonald will lead off this inning. He's 1 for 1 today. A double in the bottom of the first. Thinks about bunting, but pulls it back for ball 1. And read some interesting score updates from around the SCAC. McMurray with the 4-0 lead on TLU and Seguin.
It's an important series over there. If Trinity comes back and wins this one, and TLU beats McMurray, the Tigers have clinched.
Trinity, first place in the SCAC in terms of conference record. Place they're not all that unfamiliar with, but maybe a bit of a surprise this year considering all the new faces that they had. 31 out of 61 rostered players that were not on the team last year. Finds the zone on McDonald, count 2-1.
It'll be a couple weekends before we know if they've clinch the regular season championship. Concordia did take a loss to Dallas, so that'll help them out.
Pitch away, gets through Mikey, but nobody on base to take advantage. Everybody losing to Dallas. Dallas has stolen a win against McMurray, Concordia, and Trinity.
I don't know what it is with game ones with Dallas. They have an uncanny way to win those.
If only they could win the other two in the series, they'd be in a much better spot. The 3-1. McDonald chops this one to second. Menard has to make the throw, does so in time. Miller with the stretch to get the out, one away.
Really solid contact by McDonald. A lot of solid contact from the Tiger bats. It's just getting it through a hole. But it's some good range from the infielders of Centenary.
Nick Lazera coming up to the plate, 0 for 1. Grounded out to second. Some interesting shifts from Centenary. They've shifted back and forth in the middle of that bats. Here they do it again. They'll take about 7 steps to the right, at least from our perspective.
It's like they're shifting depending on what the pitch is.
Maybe you tell if you can figure it out. And they will shift right back to the left. Pitch high and away to Lazera, 1-1. So the shortstop, Gordon, the second baseman, Menard, and the center fielder, Birkelback, will all shift in unison. Pretty routinely. This is chopped to third. And the throw made across the diamond by Gillum. 2 away.
And Miller's been really good at first base today, Cole. Some good picks from the turf, because not every throw has been in his glove. Some of them have taken a near bounce. Definitely not easy throws to snag.
Max Milligan coming up to the plate. Walked in his only plate appearance today. Only time he's seen action in this series. Now in a lefty-lefty matchup. Pitch high, ball 1. So now kind of an interesting shift where there's just a yawning gap right over second base. Both the shortstop and the second baseman towards the line either way. Milligan pops it up, foul, and completely over the roof of the Bell Center on that corner. Look out below. Ooh, we got some interesting planes in center field. Look at those. I don't know if you can see him on screen. Doesn't look like you can. Fouled off, out of play. Count now 1-2. I don't know what they are. I can't really tell from here, but they definitely don't look like standard airline planes.
Oh, San Antonio is the military city after all.
That would be my guess. Breaking ball low. Nice take by Milligan. Count 2-2. Now a pretty standard defensive lineup for Centenary in terms of positioning. See if that changes at all, and there it goes, off to the right. Big swing and a miss. That's strike 3. 3 up, 3 down for Trinity. They find themselves down 2. We're headed to the bottom of the 4th on Tiger Network. Be sure to stick around. Welcome back to San Antonio, Texas. Alex Miller will lead off the inning for Centenary, who finds themselves up 6-4 in Game 3, trying to avoid being swept by Trinity. Strike called from Will Taylor. Collected the final 2 outs of the third. Got out of a bases-loaded jam. Miller thought about it, but checks his swing. Count 1-1. There is some action in the Tiger bullpen. Trinity seeing how much length they can get out of the first-year Taylor. Fires a strike. Who's been very reliable to this point. Obviously, the 0 ERA. Reed, I didn't know if you knew this, but that's about as good as it gets.
It really is, Cole. We've had a couple of relievers in these past couple of years have super low ERAs.
Swung onto the roof of the bill. Center foul. 1, 2, 3. Not great.
We never really had a guy go double-digit innings with a 0 ERA this long into the season.
Pitch outside, 2-2.
I can't remember if Jonathan Newman made it to double-digit innings before he surrendered his first run.
I'm pretty sure he did. 2-2. Rounder. Could be a tough play for Ramsey. Makes the throw in time. Nice aggressive play at short. Gets the first out of the inning.
And that's the weak contact that Taylor really draws with that pitch. It's what the Tigers want to see. Make those defensive plays easier for everybody. Brandon Morio might have gotten to double-digit innings as well with 0 ERAs too.
Now the cleanup batter, Aaron Gillum, 0 for 2 today. Grounds one, a fair ball down the first base line. A nice pick by Baker, and he'll take the trip himself for out number 2.
And if Taylor can keep up this pace, we might get some really good length out of him. He's working about as fast as Morio is in this inning than Morio was in the last game.
Noah Paulson up, 0 for 1. Walked the last time he was up. Tries to drop down a bunt, but that pitch gets all the way to the backstop. And I'll tell you why I know Jonathan Newman made it to double-digit innings before he allowed his first earned run, because he allowed, I think, 5 earned runs against TLU, a game we did where Brendan Beard threw 161 pitches, I think it was, or was it 141?
161.
161. And Newman committed an error in that game. Ground ball to short. Ramsey makes the throw. Long story short, he committed the error. All the runs were unearned because of it. That ends the inning. We're done with the top of the 4th. We'll head to the bottom of the frame. Tigers need some runs. Down 2 against Centenary. Welcome back to San Antonio, Texas. Will Baker set to lead off the inning as he faces Carson Dingler in his 3rd inning of work. Baker 0 for 1 today, a 365 hitter on the year. Grounded into a fielder's choice in his first at bat. Takes a ball high. Carson Dingler, a 7.97 ERA coming into this game. His last appearance, 1.2 innings pitched versus Southwestern, allowed 1 run and it wasn't earned, but the numbers on the season not very good. But steadily improving with each inning he pitches against Trinity. Swing and a miss from Baker, 1-1.
Yeah, that's what you want to see out of these guys later on this season. Start pitching a bit better, keep you in a game.
The 1-1 finds the top of the strike zone, 1-2.
Bounce back. Don't get flustered over some maybe poor appearances earlier in the year.
Centenary relying on a lot of first years this year. The 1-2 pitch from Dingler. Fouled off into the screen above the Trinity dugout. Coach Diaz talking about, he said a lot of guys just trying to figure it out, both offensively and on the mound. And he thinks that that's part of the inconsistency they've seen so far this year, where they're up, sweep Southwestern, they're down, they drop 2 of 3 to Shriner at home. Just pretty weird year for Centenary overall. The 1-2, Baker not biting on the outside slider. Count even at 2 apiece.
Right now, the shift for Centenary has kept this Tiger offense at bay for a large part of the game. A lot of hard ground balls that under normal circumstances would get through. You got a gent there ready to make the play most of the time.
Ball high, the count runs full with nobody out, nobody on. Centenary with the 6-4 lead. Yeah, the shift didn't really seem to be that much of an issue to begin with. I mean, Tigers hard ground balls throughout the series, finding the holes, but not so much today. Only 3 hits, 4 runs to show for it, though. High ball 4 and a leadoff walk for Will Baker.
We'll see if the Tigers can start figuring out Dingle on the mound. Leadoff walk, always a good sign.
So Brandon Nelson coming up to the plate. And if you weren't tuned in earlier, remember what he did the last time he was up. A no doubt 2-run homer that gave the Tigers the 2-run lead at the time. Of course, that has since been relinquished. The Tigers find themselves down 2. First pitch in misses inside. 1-0.
Yeah, he gave the Tigers the lead and he gave someone a hefty bill that they're going to have to settle later.
Hope they had insurance, because we do not cover that. The 1-0. 2-0. I'm just waiting to see in the right field parking lot if we just see no cars there all of a sudden, because we gave the PSA, we gave the photographic evidence. Everybody knows there will be a mound visit. See if it's just a chat or if we have a pitching change here in San Antonio. Right now, it looks like it's just a chat. Falling behind 2-0 to Brandon Nelson, who's already gone deep in this game. Leadoff walk to start things. Coach Diaz looks like just trying to settle down his first-year lefty.
Centenary's kind of brand over these past couple of years has been the pitching. Maybe this year, not so much due to a lot of really big-name guys leaving over the past couple of years, and including on the batting side as well. Carson Livesey transferring to ETBU. But they found a way to stay pesky in several games, get that sweep at Southwestern, and maybe take a game here against the Tigers.
The 2-0 pitch. Strike called, so productive meeting as it turns out. Gets the first pitch strike after it. The 2-1 pitch to Nelson. Baker on first. Fouled off. Kind of a golf swing there. Count now 2-2. 2-2 pitch to Nelson coming up. Still nobody out in the inning. Will Baker waiting on first. Centenary with the 6-4 lead here in San Antonio. Nelson hits it in the air, sky high, foul, way out of play onto the road behind Trinity University Ballpark. You know, my main takeaway from that meeting, Reed? Alex Miller is really tall. I mean, he was just towering over everybody in that huddle. Looked on my notes, he's 6'6". I think everybody else is around 6'1", maybe. Two. They'll check on Baker.
It's a very helpful attribute to have as a first baseman, especially. Could get the stretch much, much farther when you're taller.
Big swing and a miss from Nelson. And he strikes out, first out of the inning.
Yeah, that meeting has been very productive. Strike out Nelson. See if you can't get out of this inning with no damage. You have the double play on the table.
Michael Lustina coming up to the plate. A very unfortunate ground out for him, 1-3. Pitch behind his head, hits the barrel of the bat, stays fair. All of this somehow happening, and he's thrown out. Strike called. That was how the bottom of the first ended. Tigers scoring 4 runs in that frame, and since then the Tigers have yet to score and they have yet to get a hit. So maybe foreshadowing of some of the misfortune that would happen to Trinity. Pitch misses high. Count 1-1. One's on the board. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. And the runner on first. Pitch to Lustina. Taken away, 2-1.
See if Lustina, if he can get a hit here, maybe break the, I don't want to call it a curse yet, but
It's a little early for that.
it ain't no Bambino curse, I'll tell you that much.
The 2-1. Nice take, some nice movement to that pitch. Lustina lays off, and it's 3-1. I'm still baffled about how that even happens. You just have to change where he's holding his bat when he swings? I mean, how do you even avoid that? Behind his head. Unbelievable. 3-1. Cranks this one. Foul. Off the light pole. No extra points.
It's just one of those things, Cole. Baseball can be really weird sometimes. Weird things happen. We've had MLB games delayed due to bees.
That was a fun one last year. Wonder if Max Milligan had anything to do with that. The 3-2. Ball 4. And that is the second walk handed out by Centenary pitching in this inning.
Yeah, just a good at-bat for Lustina. I think that's how he wanted to get on last time. Maybe coming full circle.
Kai Tinker coming up to the plate. 0 for 1 with a fly out to center. Now with an opportunity for Trinity, the tying run on first base. And some pointing happening from the umpire, and it looks like this might be a pitching change. Coach Diaz coming out, and so is another reliever. Pitching change in San Antonio when we come back. Bottom of the 4th. Welcome back to the sunny campus of Trinity University. Kai Tinker settling into the batter's box, and he'll face the new Centenary arm, Cohen LaRoe. The first year from Northworth, Louisiana. Strike called on Tinker. Woodworth, Louisiana, I beg your pardon. 24 innings pitched, 24 strikeouts. That's a pretty nice ratio. 18 walks, though. Hope to rein it in for an important situation with the go-ahead run on first base. The 0-1. Slider misses away, 1-1. Runners on first and second. Trinity down 2. Pitch gets away, and both runners will advance. So the tying run on second now for the Tigers.
Oh, that's great. That's quite fortunate for the Tigers. Get both runners advancing. Unless something weird happens, probably not a double play situation.
I don't know, Reed. Unless something weird happens, it's a pretty interesting qualifier for today, it would seem. The 1-1 pitch. Slider finds the zone, strike 2. Now apparently the count was 2-2, scoreboard just updating. So now 2-2. Nice bounce back pitch from LaRoe. Baker on first, Lustina on second, both on by way of a walk. Pitch gets away, and that will score a run. Baker sliding home safely, and it's 6-5.
And another fortunate play. A ball just leaving the hand too late that time from LaRoe. So get the run in, and you know, if any more weird things happen, Cole, you might be stealing Austin's catchphrase.
So this started runners on first and second, and it became runners on second and third, and now it's just a runner on third with a run in, and Tinker hasn't really had to do anything. 3-2 pitch, fouled off into the screen near us. So we'll do it again. Tinker trying to find a way to drive in the tying run, which waits on third in the form of Michael Lustina. Inside, ball 4, and 3 walks handed out by Centenary pitching in this inning.
A good moment for Tinker. Can make that deposit into his Roth IRA. Now you got runners at the corners for the Tigers.
He's been here for a while, Reed. I don't know about that long. Really, the Roth IRA instead of the 401k? I can see it going either way. I've heard good things about both. Any investment advice, always happy to take it.
We should ask Luke Terry.
Should. The accounting major. John Ramsey up to the plate. Our executive producer can be a funny guy sometimes. Ramsey trying to bring the tying run in. Lines it into left field. That'll get the job done. Run comes in for third and Lustina, and we are tied at 6. An RBI single from John Ramsey.
There you go, Cole. Ramsey maybe having a bit of a rough day, but he brings in the tying run. Lustina kind of did a double back for a moment. Not sure if it was going to fall, but he had plenty of time to get home. Trinity, yeah, they're scoring again.
So this game tied at 6 all of a sudden. Good news for Trajan Lee. He will be taken out of the decision of this one. Was on the hook for the loss there for a little bit. Not anymore, as Woodward drives this into right field. It'll get down. Run will not come home and score, as Tinker had to read that for a second, but it will load the bases with 1 out.
Yeah, station-to-station situation for the base runners. It was close over at second. I thought the play might have been made, but just barely above the glove.
So bases loaded, filled with Tigers. Tinker at third, Ramsey at second, Woodward at first, and Maddox McDonald at the plate. 1 for 2 today, grounded out to second the last time he was up. He's also doubled. Takes a breaking ball outside, and LaRoe gets the calm down signal from his catcher, Christian Mikey. Fouled off the end of the bat, 1-1.
And now Trinity University, we are a recognized cat colony. We'll see how we can use that power.
I didn't know we were recognized. That's interesting. I mean, we should be. We deserve it. No doubt about that. The Trinicats walking around. None in this area, though. This is driven into right field, and the sliding catch is made. Runners will tag, and the Tigers take the lead. Kai Tinker coming in on the sac fly. It's 7-6, but a nice play out in center.
Yeah, really nice play. It's hitting the gap, the diving catch from Birkenbach. That was very fortunate, because if that gets down, that's doing a lot of damage.
That looked like trouble. The nice range out in center field. Tinker scores on the sac fly. McDonald gets the RBI, and the Tigers get the lead. 3-run fourth put up by Trinity so far. It's 7-6. Nick Lazera coming up to the plate. A check on Woodward at first to no avail. Lazera 0 for 2 with 2 groundouts. 2 outs in the inning. If Lazera can get on, all 9 Tigers will have come up to bat in the frame. Pitch misses outside, 1-0.
And maybe McDonald harnessed some of the power of the Trinicats there.
I don't know what power they have, but maybe. I don't know. We can take that for him, sure.
I usually find I have good luck if I go out and pet one.
Okay. I didn't know that. I'll have to use that. Pitch outside, 2-0. Runners at the corners. Trinity taking a 7-6 lead over Centenary, who's trying to avoid being swept. Woodward off and running. Lazera cranks this into center field. Shallow center at that. Birkelbach comes in and makes the catch that ends the inning, but not before Trinity puts up a crooked number. 3 in the bottom of the fourth gives them the 7-6 lead. We'll head to the top of the 5th on Tiger Network. Welcome back to the campus of Trinity University. Will Taylor back on the mound for the Tigers, who have just taken a 7-6 lead. And a pinch hitter in for Centenary. It's Caleb Ickes, who takes over for Christian Mikey. Hickey's pinch hit in game 2 of this series, game 1 of this doubleheader. Taylor fires a strike, the count now 1-1.
Right, Taylor's been working well. After a bit of a rough start to the appearance.
Fouled off the end of the bat, right into the backstop, makes a now slow thud. Brings the count to 2-2. Right, it was a rough start, gets the fly out for the sacrifice fly. The runner that was already on third came in to score, but then a walk and a hit by pitch loaded the bases. Taylor with the strikeout to get out of the jam, and since then it's been pretty smooth. Breaking ball misses into the dirt. Count 2-2. Foul ball, we'll do it again. Nobody on, nobody out. Pitch misses away, and that will run the count full. Ground ball hits Taylor. He's got to be alert. Flips it underhand and makes the play. Kind of a shovel pass to get the out.
Excellent work from Will Taylor there. I feel like that's like the third or fourth time a play like that has happened to a Tiger player. I think the second time for Taylor. Right back to him. Easy flip.
Well, the concern, if you're a Tigers fan or player, was that would get through because there was nobody backing up second base behind it to get that. It was on Taylor. Blocks it, makes the throw in time. Joby Boone up to the plate. Boone is 0 for 2, reached on an E6 the last time he was up. Ahead 1-0 on Taylor. Pitch high, 2-0.
I feel like the Tigers, they have formations for certain batters and their defensive shift. They're not shifting every pitch like we see the Gents do. And this time you have second and shortstop really deep.
Fastball down the middle, strike one.
They are standing on the grass part of the turf. First and third are
pretty unusual for the Gents to be shifting in the middle of the at-bat like they do, but that's what they do, and it seems to be working. Strike called, evens the count at 2-2.
It's the shift that says we're going to not let anything get into the outfield.
There's strike three right down the middle. First strikeout of the inning for Will Taylor, the second of the day, and there's two away in order.
Will Taylor, he's a hard guy to predict. He has so much at his disposal, so much with the same pitch as well. It makes it very, very difficult to know what he's doing.
Lenny Fourth coming up to the plate. Takes a strike on the inside edge. Fourth, 1 for 1 today. Base hit and a sacrifice fly. Pitch outside, 1-1. We talk about how funky Will Taylor can be sometimes, that weird leg kick he has, but also he throws like two different fastballs that are exactly the same, just at different speeds. Has one in the high 80s, and then he has one that he drops to about 80 exactly. And to the same pitch, he just throws one slower.
I'm trying to think if anyone's ever done that. If I've ever seen anyone else do that before.
The 1-1 in the dirt. Make it 2-1.
It's very unique. It's very Will Taylor.
Based on the results that we've seen, I would assume it's also flummoxing for anybody facing him. 2-1. Slider misses low. Make it 3-1. Trying to avoid 2-out walk. Jebediah Gordon waiting on deck. Here's a chopper to third. Tinker gloves it, makes the throw in time. 3 up, 3 down for the second inning in a row for Will Taylor. He's done well in his appearance. We're halfway through this one in San Antonio. Bottom of the 5th coming your way next. Welcome back to the second half of this baseball game. Bottom of the fifth on the campus of Trinity University. Max Milligan will lead things off for the Tigers against LaRoe, who remains out there after one inning of work. Fires strike one, bringing the count to 0-1. Milligan 0 for 1 today. Struck out the last time he was up. He's also walked. Cranks one. That's a fair ball down the first base line. Clicks off the glove of Miller, and nobody's there to collect that baseball. Milligan hustling for second there, standing up a leadoff double. So an unfortunate play down the first base line for Centenary, right off the glove of Miller.
It's off his glove, and he thinks it's going to be heading deeper into right field, but it actually stops in front of the Gents bullpen, and he has to go get it. And at that point, Milligan heads up awareness to head to second. Another really bizarre play here in Game 3.
Will Baker coming up to the plate. Runner on second, nobody out. Baker's reached on a fielder's choice and walked today. We talk about the new design of this field. I mean, I say new, that's relative at this point. Turf field 3 years old now. Strike called on Baker, a fastball down the middle. But what it did is it took away a lot of foul territory down there and created an interesting kickback potential that we've seen once on each side. Both of them, unfortunately for Centenary, going the Tigers' way. Those bullpens just jet out. Not a lot you can do if it hits them. High, count 1-1.
What makes it even weirder, Cole, is that for the Trinity bullpen, you have that layer of concrete under that fence. But for Centenary, you don't have that. So that's what made the stop.
Chopped foul towards the Centenary dugout. Brings the count to 1-2. I never noticed that. Right, you have described it perfectly. Layer of concrete underneath the fence of the Trinity bullpen, and it's just turf. Nothing stopping it, just turf to netting for Centenary.
That's what made the ball stopping right in front of the Tiger bullpen more bizarre. You'd think it bounced into left field.
1-2. Nice pitch and a nice take by Baker as well. Slider just misses the inside part of the plate. Count even at 2-2. An insurance run for Trinity in the bottom of the fifth. They have a 7-6 lead. Milligan waiting on second. Pitch outside. Count runs full on Baker.
I just love that from Baker. He is cool as a cucumber no matter what the count is.
The 3-2. Nobody out. High, ball 4, and for the second consecutive at-bat, Will Baker draws a walk.
I'm putting him on a pedestrian watch.
I don't know if we're getting enough. Well, I guess for the pedestrian we could. 3 walks in a row, always a possibility. And we will have a pitching change for Centenary, it looks like. That'll be the day for LaRoe. He's responsible for the 2 runners currently on first and second. We'll be back on Tiger Network. New pitcher when we come back. Welcome back to the campus of Trinity University. And how about this from Centenary and Coach Diaz? It's Tyler Herrera coming out of the bullpen. The ERA a little higher than it shows on your screen. Those were the numbers from before last night. Current numbers, a 3.49 ERA, still plenty respectable, as that was really his only bad outing of the season last night against Trinity. He's back out. Pitch count maybe not that high. Maybe that was the plan all along when Centenary pulled him when they did, knowing that he could be available in relief. Still face Brandon Nelson. Big swing and a miss. A nice pitch from Herrera to get things going. Reed, what do you make of this move?
I think this is, we want to win this game. We're going to put our guy out there who didn't pitch a lot in game 1. See if he can help us win game 3.
Nelson 1 for 2, a home run and a strikeout the last time he was up. The lefty-lefty matchup. Pitch high, 1-1. Trinity up 7-6. Herrera trying to keep it that way and get his offense back out there, only down 1. Nelson smokes this one deep to center field. Back at the wall. It's out of here to Trinity and beyond. A 3-run homer, and it's 10-6 Tigers.
Crushed, Cole. Just absolutely crushed. This one took a lot longer to get out of the ballpark, but off the bat, it definitely had the chance, and it kept carrying. I think the good thing for those in the parking lot, I don't think it's going to break a windshield, but it probably just broke the hearts of several Centenary fans.
Back-to-back 3-run innings put up by the Tigers. The second home run of the game for Brandon Nelson. Brings up Michael Lustina. It's grounded out. Unfortunately, a ball behind his head that somehow found its way into fair territory. And he's also walked. Out to face Tyler Herrera, and certainly not the result that Centenary was expecting when they made that move. Swing and a miss. Strike for Lustina. Draw your ace pitcher in relief. Expect some quality innings, and you would hope that the guys that are on base don't come around to score. They do. All in one swing of the bat. The 3-run homer from Brandon Nelson. Pitch misses from Herrera. Count even at 1-1.
Yeah, it's another multi-home run game for a Tiger.
Strike called.
He got them that lead back in the bottom of the first. Or well, padded it a little bit as well.
Ground ball through the hole in left, past the dive of Gordon. Lustina thinking about 2, but he'll head back to first, content with a no-out single.
Yeah, Lustina has been really good offensively in these past couple of games. Another great hit. Just gets through the hole. The shift not quite working to fruition there.
Kai Tinker up. Trinity with the 10-6 lead. Runner on first, nobody out. Tinker walked the last time he was up. They throw back to first to check on Lustina, who dives back safely. Reed, easy to forget that there's still nobody out in the inning. The pitching change, everything that's happened in between. Chopper to third. Throw made in time. They try and go for 2. Throw gets away. Lustina thinking about coming home, decides not to, but he advances to third.
Yeah, really good aggressive base running. They tried the hit and run. Guy was always going to be safe at second, so you take the out at first. I don't think they were expecting him to go to third.
Yeah, a short throw from Alex Miller. And now look at this alignment from Centenary defensively. Playing all the way in, trying to cut down that run. So John Ramsey up to the plate, and the job may be a little bit easier. Strike called. Trying to get something over their heads. A lot of space to work with.
I'm not sure I've seen a shift this far in the season, Cole.
Yeah, you want to talk about the infield being in. Well, here you go. Ball in the dirt and a nice kickback. You got to watch out for that backstop, and that might be the home field advantage at work. Lustino aware of it. He heads back to third.
Unfortunate. I'm sure Lustino would have loved to come in to score. I remember when the turf field was first unveiled and we first started playing games, we had catchers like Tyler Pettit saying that's the first time that backstop has ever been useful. Because when this field was dirt, the ball would just die right at the backstop. Now it bounces.
The 1-1. Ball high, 2-1. We've seen several visiting teams have issues with that backstop. And have not expected it to bounce back as much as it does. Lustino aware of it, heads back to third. Ramsey in a 2-1 count, 1 down in the inning. Nice pitch from Herrera. Breaking ball finds the zone. Count even at 2-2.
And at this point, it's just get some insurance runs if you're the Tigers. They've roared back to life after being quiet for 2 innings. The offense at it again.
Chopper. And it looks like Woodward actually caught that with the bat on deck.
A bit of
Getting ready.
Ninja action.
That's as good of a warm-up as any. Some live BP right there. 2-2 pitch to Ramsey. Infield still in for Centenary. Ball in the dirt, ball 3. Ickey's able to keep it near him. Stops the run from scoring.
That brings up a scenario, Cole. Could you foul it off and then have the guy who's warming up on deck swing and hit it inadvertently?
That's one way to do it. Pitch inside and it hits him, so Ramsey will head to first. And probably didn't want that on a 3-ball count. Could have thrown it outside the zone anywhere. Instead, he's thinking, really, it had to be at me?
Yeah, you bring that infield shift so far in, and that's how the plate appearance ends. You kind of just have to throw your arms in the air and go, well, try again with the next batter.
So it goes down as a hit by pitch. Herrera trying to work his way through the bottom of the 5th, which has been not very kind to him so far. Checks on Ramsey at first, who steps back safely. Now has to deal with Caleb Woodward, 2 for 3 today. 2 base hits. He's also grounded out to short. Pitch outside, 1-0 to Woodward. The hits have come back with a vengeance for the Tigers. They're getting out hit 6-2 for quite some time. Now out hitting Centenary 8-6, and they have the 10-6 lead. Checks on Ramsey again. Takes 2 steps to his left and is back safely with relative ease. Going back to our conversation earlier, I don't know if you want to be trying that with the runner on third. Still only 1 down in the inning. Woodward thought about going, but checks his swing. They appeal to the third base umpire, but there's none there. So, unfortunate for Ickey's there.
That's the downside of the 3-man crew. You're not going to have an umpire on one of the lines.
So, should be a 2-0 count to Caleb Woodward, and there it is, the scoreboard updates. Runners at the corners, 1 down. They check on Ramsey again, because why not? Woodward fouls it off.
Yeah, Woody's trying to get a hit. He's had a great approach at this plate so far.
2-1 pitch to Woodward. Ball high, 3-1.
That's good that Woody's found himself in a batter's count here.
3-1 pitch, 1 down. Runners at the corners. Woodward smokes this one into center field. 1 run will score. Ramsey headed to third. Woodward thinking about second. He might be caught in a rundown now, and he is. Woodward trips, and this could be over quickly. Got to watch that runner at third, see if he comes home to score. Woodward stalls for as long as he can, but is tagged out. Not before he gets the RBI single, though.
Yeah, that was maybe a bit too optimistic for Caleb Woodward. It's a solid knock. But he was thinking for more. He overstretched himself, then fell down trying to go back. And at that point, it was too late.
And now a pitching change in San Antonio. Tyler Herrera will be taken out of this one. Does not get out of the inning. Trinity with the 11-6 lead. We'll take a break on Tiger Network. Welcome back to the campus of Trinity University. Ray Bush into the game for Centenary, a 7.25 ERA across 22 innings pitched. 0-1 record on the year from New Orleans. First pitch to Maddox McDonald is high above his head. McDonald 1 for 2 today, a .355 hitter on the season. And an opportunity with a runner on third, trying to extend this lead, which is now 11-6. The Tigers have scored 7 runs across the last 2 innings offensively. The 1-0 is lined and foul into the Centenary dugout. The runner on third, John Ramsey, will be charged to Tyler Herrera if he's brought in, and this campus has not been kind to Tyler Herrera. 7.2 innings pitched, 14 hits allowed, 10 earned runs, 11 runs total, ERA north of 9 on this campus.
Yeah, talk about a place you don't want to be at if you're Tyler Herrera.
Two-one pitch, misses. now 3-1. Wind kicking up a notch, and it's going in a bit of an opposite direction, coming from right to left. In from right field now. McDonald smokes this into right field, and it finds the gap. Ramsey scores easily from third. McDonald hustling for second. Stand up, 2 out, RBI, double, 12-6 Tigers.
The hit parade continues, Cole. It is just hit after hit after hit. That one into the alleyway for Maddox McDonald. He's continuing his hot stretch here in the past couple of weekends. It has just been a really good past couple of innings for the Tigers.
Now Nicholas Lazera up to the plate. The 9th batter in this Trinity order to come up to the plate in the inning. 383 hitter on the year, 0 for 3 today. He's grounded out twice and flung out the last time he was up. First pitch misses inside. We apologize for any potential jiggling that might occur on our center field camera. There is somebody on the stand. They are not supposed to be there. If you know this person, tell them to get off, please. It would be nice. Lazera takes a fastball right down the middle. Strike 1.
Yeah, it's brave to be on the stand as well.
Yeah, you don't want a ball hit over there.
Well, that camera falls off, you're liable for it,
Ooh,
just as a PSA.
Yeah, don't want to be there. Strike called 1 and 2. So just to get who's liable for what out of the way, we're not liable for any cars hit with baseballs, and then he'd be liable for the camera if it broke. Lazera grounds this one through the hole in left, past the dive. McDonald will come in easily to score, and it is lucky number 13 on the board for the Tigers. They have a 7-run lead.
Another just solid knock. They keep scoring, Cole. They just keep scoring. Lazera just gets another RBI. It's kind of been the theme of the game. It's interesting, at one point we were kind of wondering if Centenary was going to hold on, but the wheels have come off the bus.
9 runs in the last 2 innings. Throw to first, not in time to get Lazera, who takes a step to his left and is safe. He actually put up the out signal. He's like, yeah, you got me. I was here before the ball was thrown, but yeah. Having a little fun out there. Max Milligan, who led off this inning with a double, now up to bat. 1 for 2 today. He's also walked. Takes a strike there. So the inning has gone in this order: a double, a walk, a home run, a single, ground out, hit by pitch, single, double, single. Breaking ball misses inside, 1 and 1. The only outs recorded: the ground out off the bat of Kai Tinker and the pickoff of Caleb Woodward when he was trying to turn a single into a double. Swinging a foul off the bat of Milligan. Count 1 and 2.
It's a good turnout for game 3 as well. I think everybody kind of went towards the shaded area for this game.
Got the trees out there. Nice little spot. Milligan ropes one into left field. Another base hit. His second hit of the inning. Thinking about going for 2. Won't. Lazera will go into third, and runners are at the corners with 2 down.
Well, I can only describe a hit so many ways. That one particularly impressive. A breaking ball blown away, but Milligan still gets the stick to it. Excellent piece of hitting there.
Make that the 12th hit of the game for the Tigers as they keep adding on. And we will have at least a meeting, and it will be a pitching change in San Antonio. The 4th pitcher of the inning coming in for Centenary, an inning that's seen 6 runs put on the board by the Trinity Tigers. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to the Alamo City. Jacob Lukaszewski, the fourth arm in for the Centenary Gents here in the bottom of the fifth. We've been in this inning for quite some time, and it will continue with the second at-bat of the inning for Will Baker. Walked in his first at-bat of the inning. Pickoff move. Milligan gets back safely. Baker has walked twice in this game, so we are on alert for his third walk. Outside, ball one, and a good start.
Certainly a good start. It's the most important thing to me right now.
I'm not going to lie, it might be up there for me too. Wouldn't usually say that, but the score speaks for itself. Tigers up a touchdown, 13-6. And won't get it here. Popped up, shallow center. And the inning will come to a close, but not before the Tigers do maximum damage. 6 runs put up in the frame. They lead it 13-6. We'll head to the top of the 6th when we come back on Tiger Network. Welcome back to San Antonio. We're back for the top of the 6th inning. Trinity has opened up a 13-6 lead. Bottom of the 5th inning, taking about half an hour. Will Taylor back out on the mound, though, to faces the 9-hole hitter, Jebediah Gordon. Gordon down 0-1 now. 1 for 1 in the game with a single. He's also walked. Pitch misses low, 1-1. Pretty interesting decision to bring Will Taylor back out there despite the long rest.
I'll see if he's lost a step at all. I mean, that is about a half an hour rest.
Pitch outside, 2-1. We've seen it go both ways. You think the rest might have had something to do with some pitchers all of a sudden not doing so well, and then some pitchers keep going like nothing happened. This is chopped foul. Tinker will range over to make the play anyways, and he'll flip it back to his own dugout.
And long frames are not too uncommon in Division III baseball. We've seen in series against Austin, TLU, plenty of series where one part of the game goes a long time.
Big swing and a miss. Lazaro will throw to first to finish the job on the drop strike 3. 1 down in the inning.
Yeah, I think he's going to be pretty fine.
Seems that way. Good indicator early. Flips the order over. Urkel back up to the plate, the leadoff man. Takes strike 1. 1 for 2 today. Had a triple to open up this game. Came around to score. He's also been hit by a pitch. Drops down the bunt. It's a good one. Taylor has to field his position. Air mails the throw, and that will cost him a base. Urkel back, sprinting in for second. They're standing up. Should be a base hit and a throwing error on Taylor.
I think it's a classic freshman pitcher thing to do. Go out, try to make the play yourself. That's definitely a learning curve moment there. Let your fielders take the throw for you. I'm not even sure necessarily you'd get him at first if you had Lazera or Kaitinker take the throw, but might have not been airmailed like that.
Clay Menard up to the plate. Takes the ball low. Menard 1 for 2. Has singled, struck out. He's also walked. Working with the runner on second. Pitch high. Burkle back, getting the opportunity to stay in this game. He's been pulled midway through each of the last 2 games, despite making starts. And now he finds himself on second with a base hit. Strike called, 1-1 to Menard. Went around, strike called, 1-2.
We have a quick shout out to Trinity University volleyball team. Played some spring matches against A&M International, St. Mary's, Blinn, and Kingsville.
Pitch inside, doesn't get the call, 2-2. The volleyball team in attendance so far. See a few of them there in the front row. Taking in a nice baseball game in the shade. Pitch outside. Count now full with 1 down.
Because of what we're doing right now, I didn't get to catch too many of those matches. I walked in and they were kind of blowing out St. Mary's.
This is hit in the air to left field. And the catch is made by Milligan nicely at the warning track. Runner will tag to third and get there. Throw gets away into the dugout. And we'll see what the call here is. It hit somebody. It might have been the umpire, and they're just going to award the run.
Yeah, Cole, that was one of the plays of this game, that's for sure. The throw from Ramsey, I don't know, I think holding it was probably the better play. It was going to be close. I think more likely it was going to be safe than not, but instead it goes off of the runner's back into the Tiger dugout, and it scores them.
Well, the main dilemma on that, or the main point of interest, is will that be an earned run for Will Taylor? Pitch in the dirt. Facing Alex Miller. Miller 2 for 3 today, a single and a double. Grounded out the last time he was up to short. Ground ball. Foul. So if we go through the math to see whether that run will be earned. Gets the base hit. Moves to second on the error. Pitch from Taylor. Round ball could be trouble. And Baker wins the race to first, and that means the run should be unearned. So the ERA of 0 will remain for Will Taylor, but Centenary gets on the board. It's 13-7 as we head to the bottom of the 6th on Tiger Network. Welcome back to the campus of Trinity University. Centenary able to scratch a run in the top of the 6th. Now we're here for the bottom of the frame, and it's Brandon Nelson, who's been giving the Gents a lot of trouble recently. 2 home runs in this game. Partly responsible for the large lead the Tigers have, and they're not going to give him the chance to hit another one. Hit near the head, and he'll head to first.
A lot of hit by pitches, a lot of walks for the Tigers. There was a point where Centenary was in the lead in the AB count in terms of going around their order, and now it's the Tigers off to a very, very big lead. I imagine they've lapped them multiple times now in that aspect.
Michael Lustina up to the plate, 1 for 2 today. 268 hitter on the year. Takes a pitch outside. Lukaszewski trying to work out round the leadoff hit by pitch. Strike call, the breaking ball finds the zone. Trinity on pace to sweep Centenary for the 2nd time in 2 years. Strike called. Count 1-2. Centenary made the trip 2 years ago here to San Antonio. Play a 3-game series. They were swept in that one. 1-2. Pitch high, 2-2. Runner still on first, nobody out. Of course, Trinity went up to Shreveport last year and were swept. In fact, nobody. 2-1 pitch. Ground ball, foul. No, I guess they were not swept. Just got corrected there. They won 6-3 in game 1. It felt like they were swept because they lost 14-3 in game 2. So that kind of sucked all the energy out of game 1. Made you forget quickly.
That's definitely a mood killer.
It would.
A run rule loss in game 2.
Two pitch, high. Of course, thinking about what this means for the SCAC tournament and who will be involved. The Tigers with a win should, unless some math isn't mathing, should clinch their spot in the SCAC tournament in some capacity and should be on the doorstep in these next few weeks of clinching the top overall spot. Ground ball fair down the third base line off the bat of Lustina. Round from first comes Brandon Nelson. He's in to score, and at the extra point, it's 14-7 for Trinity.
Oh, geez, Cole. That's another great hit. Looking there, I thought for a moment the ball hit off of the third base bag. You can't quite see it on that replay, but I couldn't quite tell. Maybe the sun is playing tricks on my eyes, but either way, that was directly down the line to score another run.
So it'll bring up Kai Tinker, hitless in today's game. Michael Lustina, RBI double, 2nd consecutive game with an RBI, both of them happening today. Interesting pitch, a little bit slow, lands just above the strike zone. Tinker 0 for 2 today, he has walked. And the Tigers on the doorstep of trying to end this one a little sooner than 9 innings. Currently having the 7-run lead. Big swing and a miss from Tinker. Count 1-1.
I do believe Trinity should clinch a spot or clinch a berth into the SCAC tournament. We were doing the math earlier. They would be unable to lose 10 conference games, which it looks like TLU is about to do. They were getting kind of pummeled by McMurray.
Pinch inside. 2-1. Not a lot of interesting scores around the SCAC today. A lot of blowouts so far. This one looked like it was going to be interesting. Centenary with a 6-4 lead at one point, but that has since gone by the wayside in pretty extreme fashion. Now 14-7, Trinity has the lead. Pitch in the dirt. Had scored 9 unanswered runs at one point. Centenary scoring in the top of the 6th. Trinity has already answered with a run of their own here in the bottom of the frame.
I think the most interesting score was the 8-2 victory Dallas got over Concordia, which will go a long way in terms of winning the regular season for the Tigers.
2-1. Lined and caught at short. Gordon jumping up and making the play. Throws to second to try and get 2, but a nice dive back from Lucina to avoid that.
Excellent jump. Great vertical. Nearly the double play, but I think they're going to be glad to just get an out in this inning.
John Ramsey up to the plate. 1 for 2 with a base hit. He's also been hit by a pitch. I've never heard an audible gasp like that from the crowd before. That was definitely a first for me. Spinning off the backside, close play. Couldn't reel in the baseball though.
I think the last time I heard an audible gasp from a crowd here at a Trinity game was when we were playing football against Center, and we showed a replay of some guy having his ankle rolled.
Yeah, it's not a good gasp. This was a great play gasp. That's more of what we're looking for. More of what we want to see on a daily basis, as opposed to the other one. Ramsey thinks about bunting, pulls it back.
Yeah, when you get the crowd gasping in excitement, definitely what you want to hear.
That was quite the play at short. Definitely deserving of the reaction it got from mostly a Trinity crowd here. Some Centenary people making their way from Shreveport, Louisiana, and the surrounding areas. Strike called, 1-1 to Ramsey.
Yeah, it's one of the great things about the SCAC is just really close together geographically. So, parents can make the road trips if they so choose. Of course, that won't be the case in the SAA, except for Southwestern.
A lot of plane flights coming up in the near future for the Tigers. Pitch low, 2-1. Of course, close geographically. I think there's some Centenary people maybe laughing at that idea. They're definitely the most out of the way in terms of any SCAC opponent.
SCAC baseball opponent. Well, I would say Ozarks is probably our.
That's okay. That's probably true. Hit by pitch, the second for Ramsey on the day. Puts runners on first and second. I'm still getting used to the new landscape where we have Ozarks and we have Concordia, McMurray in here. Thinking about the old SCAC that we've had for the prior several years that we've both been here.
And in terms of compactness, compared to other conferences, definitely very compact. For where we are, especially.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you might bring up some New England conference that's super compact, but I mean, you drive 10 minutes, you've passed through 10 different states.
Caleb Woodward up to the plate. He's got 3 base hits, 3 for 4 today. Was thrown out, trying to stretch this last base hit into a double. The 0-1. Popped up, out of play, foul. Does not go onto the roof, no hops.
Although I will say the most out of the way SCAC school is Colorado College.
That is definitely the case.
They just don't play baseball.
Well, they have the altitude, though. They can deal with a plane flight every now and then.
They used to have a football team.
The 0-2. And another hit by pitch. This one gets Woodward on the leg, and it will load the bases with 1 down. And it just might be that type of game now.
Well, bright side for the Gents. You got a force out at every base.
And we'll have that as we get the pitching change here at the campus of Trinity University. Another one for Centenary. We'll be back. Welcome back to the campus of Trinity University. Trayson Martin into the game. We saw him pitch yesterday. The ERA is 6.48. 16 and 2/3 innings pitched with 16 strikeouts. That's a solid ratio. The 12 walks might be the issue. He'll face Maddox McDonald, and hitters towards the top of this Trinity lineup. Comes in with the bases loaded in a 7-run game. 1 out on the board. First pitch to McDonald is swung on and driven into center field. Base hit. Lustina will score. Around comes Ramsey. Runners at the corners and add 2 more runs to Trinity's score. 16-7, they have the lead.
Yeah, first pitch you saw, Cole, that took it into center field. You know, if you told me that the Tigers were going to threaten to get a run roll out of this game, I'd be raising an eyebrow or two if you told me that, I don't know, in the 3rd inning. But they have really, really put on the pain.
Nicholas Lazara up to the plate. Base hit the last time he was up. By the way, that's the 3rd hit of the game for Maddox McDonald. 2 doubles and a single. Gets 2 RBIs out of it. 16-7, the Tigers have the lead. And they're 1 run away from magic number 10, where Centenary will be down to their final 3 outs. This is a 9-run game. Lazara swings and hits this one into left center, and there it is. Woodward will score. Lazara gets the RBI single. Tigers up 10 in the 6th.
Yeah, that one just kind of a cookie down the middle. Lazara will gladly accept that cannoli and score a run.
Got the gabagool out of that one. Runners at the corners for Max Milligan. Back-to-back hits in his last 2 at-bats for Max Milligan. A double and a single. 2 for 3 on the day. He's also walked. Takes a pitch inside. So far it's been early swinging for the Tigers. Not the case there. Against Martin, who is the 7th pitcher into the game for Centenary today. We've only played 6 innings so far. Popped up, out of play, towards the roof of the Bell Center, towards the camera. Oh, close call. A couple of people working the camera covering their mouths in fear there. Not really jumping to the defense of the camera. I thought that was part of the job. That's just me.
Well, I took a bat for a camera, so we'll just put that one out there.
Pitch to Milligan, misses. Count 2-1. Very similar to Game 3 against Austin College, where the Tigers found themselves down 8-7, and they would run rule in that game. This is hit in the air, deep to left field. The catch made by Villanueva, but tagging in scoring is McDonald. Make it 18-7 Tigers.
I was a bit worried Villanueva wasn't going to make the catch. He didn't really read it that well off the bat. He actually ran in, but caught himself in time to get back there to make the catch. Trinity, man, I haven't really seen an offensive output like this from them in such a dominant fashion, and it's been a bit.
So now the 9th batter to come up to the plate in this inning, and it will be a pinch hitter, John Adrian Dioli, as they check on Lazara at first. Dioli's made a couple of appearances so far this season, mostly in pinch hit roles. Senior getting an opportunity here. Strike called.
Oh, one of many Johns.
Another John, yes. He's JA, if you were curious, for John Adrian. Pitch inside, nearly another hit by pitch in this inning, but Dioli able to get out of the way. Should correct myself, John Adrian Dioli actually a junior. He is the long snapper for the football team, multi-sport athlete. Fouled onto the roof, 1, 2, and it hits the edge, so no chance there. 1-2 pitch. Ball high, 2-2.
We'd love to see Dioli working the count well, the pinch hitter position.
Centenary defenders will shift to their left. 2-2, swing and a miss, strike 3, and that ends the inning. But another crooked number put up by the Tigers. They're up 11 in this one. A 3-run fourth, a 6-run fifth, and now a 5-run sixth takes us to the 7th. Welcome back. Aaron Gillum will lead off the top of the 7th inning. Centenary all of a sudden down to their final 3 outs, down 11. The run rule will go into effect if they cannot bring this within 10. Will Taylor still on the mound for the Tigers as he fires strike 1. Trinity up 18-7. They were down in this game for a little bit. Pitch misses inside, 1-1. Down 6-4 in the 3rd, but since the 4th inning, it has been all Tigers. They've outscored Centenary 14-1 since then. This is lined into right field, and it'll fall in front of McDonald. A leadoff single for Gillum.
Well, Centenary has proven that they can score runs when they're in that run rule territory. This time they just need 2 to keep the game going. See if they can string something together.
Noah Paulson up to the plate. Chops one to third. Tinker to second. On to first. In time, a double play. So just as quickly as Centenary gets the base runner, it's erased. 5-4-3 on the twin killing.
Yeah, that's a bit of a rally killer if there was even a rally going.
A note on a defensive substitution. Jack Henning taking over at first base for the Tigers for Will Baker. Batter is Caleb Ickes, a junior and native of Louisiana. No hits today. Not going to get it there. Ground ball to second. Throw to first in time. And the Tigers sweep the Gents in 3 games. 18-7, a dominating finale.
Dominating late, Cole. Holy moly. Those back 3 innings, 3 runs, 6 runs, 5 runs. It's 14 runs in those previous 3 innings that they put across. That was a very impressive offensive explosion. You get another run roll against this Gents team. That's a lot of momentum you're carrying into next weekend and for the midweek game.
Midweek game against Mary Hardin Baylor. That will be on the road. They will then play the University of St. Thomas. See it on your schedule, and we'll be back next with you April 25th through the 27th as the Tigers will host the Southwestern Pirates, who have been reeling lately. trying to respond and potentially get into the SCAC tournament. We'll see how things develop by that weekend. As for Centenary, they will host Dallas, and then they will host a midweek game against Millsaps before going to McMurray. And then after that, it's the SCAC tournament. We'll see who's there. We know the Tigers will be. They clinch their spot with the win today and the sweep of the series. That's it for us in San Antonio. I'd like to thank everybody who worked on today's doubleheader, including cameras and in the control room, especially our executive producer, Josh Michigemba, who makes this all possible, and my partner, Reed Rosales. For everybody here on Tiger Network, I'm Cole Isaacson saying so long from San Antonio.